Good afternoon, everybody. Wait, is my mic on? It's me, Johnny, here with another reaction and analysis video. Today we're looking at VoicePlay's cover of Running Up That Hill, the Kate Bush song that was popularized by Stranger Things earlier this year. And I'm really excited about this one. Now, I'll have you know that my original video planned for today was a first-time reaction to Home Free's cover of How Great Thou Art, which I recorded in full and tried to upload to YouTube, and it was taken down due to copyright. So that really sucks. I'll try to edit that out and release it at a later time, but this is my fallback video for now. Don't want to babble too much more. I'm really excited about this one. Let's get into it. And we're live. Here we go. So one thing right off the bat that I like about this arrangement is the fact that the title says Stranger Things a cappella after giving credit to Kate Bush for the original song, and I feel like it would be very easy to use the Stranger Things title just to get more clout, I suppose, but I think they do a good job incorporating aspects of the show into their music video and their arrangement from Layne. For example, this intro that they have here, we have this drone with this weird overtone effect. It could be engineered, or it could be somebody actually singing in overtone. Either way, we have I think it's Layne doing the vocals that kind of mimic the title theme from Stranger Things, which I think is a really cool way to implement the show itself into the arrangement. So I have a lot of respect for that as part of the arrangement. Let's push ahead a little more. So in terms of the arrangement itself, we do take from the original Kate Bush song more than we do the way it's used in the show, which I think is appropriate. So we have this this groovy line from Caesar here. Something like that. Starting out there on a high B flat. He does it with a little bit more of like a falsetto mix, so that's not a B flat 4 in full chest, but it's up here actually. A very nice, very catchy way of doing it, like even with the little head dance. It adds a lot to the character of it. And we even get some spattering of harmonies on that line from Ellie and from Ashley, our featured artist in this performance. So I think it's a very good, very subtle way to open the piece. Very simple vocal percussion and bass line for now, with Jeff on these offbeats going. Nothing too crazy going on yet, which I, again, appreciate. It's good to start simple, and it's good to not overextend yourself right at the beginning of an arrangement. That being said, you do want to catch the attention of your audience, which, like I mentioned, I think they do well by including the Stranger Things theme as part of their intro, and with this really fun, catchy riff here from Caesar. I don't know what decade this song was released, nor am I good at judging music based on what decade it's from. I know a lot of people can do that really well. I think it's like 80s, maybe earlier. 80s would make sense because I believe that's the decade the show takes place in. Around the time the song was originally released. Yeah. So I think we're going for a very 80s aesthetic between the outfits and even the way the audio is mixed, engineered. Because we get a lot of this echo. We got it quite a bit in Caesar's opening part here, and we're getting it a lot in these backgrounds here with Ellie and Caesar. So I think the way, like even with some synthesizer stuff that we get, like Layne's do-da-da-da-dum thing he was doing in the beginning, just the way it's edited to sound like a synth is just a very cool callback to the original song in the style and era that it was written in.
About the deal. It's you and me. And if I only could, I make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road.
So out of all VoicePlay's arrangements, this is one of them that I most appreciate the way they use Jeff's bass, because I feel like it's not overstated in the slightest, and the way they add him, or the way Layne adds him to the arrangement, adds so much texture. Like these little moments of duet he has with Ashley, they aren't like well, first of all, they aren't sung super low, so they don't really distract, and it's also like Jeff has the perfect voice to be doing that octave layer in there. So I really appreciate the way Jeff is used in that arrangement. And let's also talk about Ashley's tone, because she isn't Kate Bush, and Kate Bush has a very distinct tone to her voice. It's a very light tone, very unique tone, and I appreciate Ashley's interpretation of the melody. Let me, my video quality's a little low. Let's go. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Anyway, Ashley's tone is very wonderful, and it fits really well with the arrangement, which is a mix of her vocal talent that she's displayed quite often with VoicePlay, and Layne's incredible arrangement skills, being the musical genius that he is.
Be running up that hill, be running up that building.
And in traditional VoicePlay style, I feel like I'm rambling more than I usually do in these, but in traditional VoicePlay style, we get a lot of this echo of the melody text, and their own made-up rhythms, I guess, which is definitely something that Layne and Jeff both really excel at doing arrangements for this piece. So we get these run going however high Ashley goes there, or maybe Ellie, I didn't really notice. Either way, so very creative arrangement here with those vocal patterns.
Running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building.
Now that's just a cool visual effect. I don't know what Layne does there. That echo, the reverb on that is not, and I hope that's not done by his voice. It's most definitely like audio engineering, and I don't know what happened there with Ellie. So we have, that's the vocal line he sings, but it's also definitely engineered. Like you can't produce. I don't think you can produce a sound that synthetic with just a human voice. I'm sure somebody somewhere could do it, but the fact that they all do it in this arrangement in their own little moments definitely shows that the editing was added together to create this 80s aesthetic. Now I'm going to speed through things a little bit more because I'm definitely being slower with this one, but it is a really good and really creative arrangement.
You don't wanna hurt me, but see how deep the bullet lies.
High B flats from Ellie there. I also like the halftime feel that we break into. It's not in the original song, but it's one of these little moments that it's VoicePlay trademark, and it suits the song really well, so I appreciate it. And I think, in addition to what I was saying earlier about Ashley's tone complementing that of Kate Bush, I think Ellie does a good job with it too, because he also has a very unique metal voice, I suppose, in that high tenor register. But I really think he sells it here, and he does a really good job with the melody when he carries it.
But see how deep the bullet lies. Run away, I'm tearing your asunder. There is thunder in our hearts. Is there so much hate for the ones we love? Tell me we both matter.
So I feel like this section with Okay, so if you've been here for a while, you know that I'm obsessed with Caesar. His voice is one of my favorites of all time. He's one of my favorite singers of all time, and I'm so glad he was added to VoicePlay. But this section where he and actually trade off the melody, get a little bit of Ellie thrown in there, is just so fitting. It's so pretty, and their voices complement each other so well. So I feel like the way they're throwing around the melody here is very unique, but it adds such a character to the piece.
Tell me we both matter.
It's you and me. It's you and me. Won't be unhappy.
Jeff solo down there to E flat 2. Not super low for a bass as low as Jeff, but I feel like it's another example of it's not really overstated, but it's implemented so well that it's sometimes more effective than the super crazy low, fast moving stuff that he does, which on its own is really impressive, and I don't have a problem with that. But I feel like sometimes understated is better, and this is one of those times that it is. So very good on Layne for that arrangement decision.
Good, I make a deal with God. I get him to swap up.
So he's still only going up to a B flat there. I say only as if that's easy. It's not. For a tenor, it's a little bit more natural, but it's still a bit of a stretch. That B flat force, that B flat 4 for some tenors, but very impressive open tone. We know he can sing that high in his metal voice. He's done that a lot before. It's still very impressive though.
Places, be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. Yeah. Say come on.
Like that da-da-da-da-da. I think that's just really cool the way it's engineered to have that kind of reverb effect that you would hear in an 80s song with like a drum kit. I also really like how Ashley has If I Only Could at the end of Ellie's part, descending into a riff where she just kind of gets to feature. Again, we don't have too much going on with the bass or vocal percussion yet, and the background vocals are very understated. So it's a very good opportunity to have Ashley do a little subtle, soft solo there, and I think it works really well. I think something this arrangement masters is simplicity, because you don't have to be super big and grand to have a compelling arrangement. It can be something smaller, something more grounded, and I think it's just masterful at that.
Come on, baby. Come on, darling.
Let me steal this moment from you now.
Moment from you. I don't have a C. No. Yeah, it's kind of fry E for me. So it goes down to a C there. I also really like this bridge section, both in the original and in their arrangement, because of how we have Ashley leading it. We have that solo line from Jeff, but when Ashley sings the lead, we get the harmonies underneath from Ellie and Caesar, and I think the harmonies add a whole lot to the mix here.
Come on, angel. Come on, darling. Let's exchange the experience. If I only could, I make a deal with God, and I get him to swap our places.
This section is really pretty. Layne has the lead. If I only could. In the more baritone-y octave. And everybody else has the harmonies built around him. It's very soft. We cut all vocal percussion. We cut a moving bass line. It's just melody and harmony. No fancy, weird counter melodies. And I think it's, again, really effective in terms of simplicity. I think we don't have to be super over the top with this. Now, that's not to say it's not in a very impressive arrangement, but I think it's just like, it's grounded enough to be all the more effective. And I think this section is very emblematic of that.
If I only could, I make a deal with God, and I get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill with no problem.
I see there. Also, I really appreciate this scene, as I said in the beginning, because it does reference the show and the content therein. Um, no spoilers will be discussed here, but this scene in the show is very compelling, and I absolutely love the way the song is used in the show for this scene. If you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's really brilliantly done. It's one of my favorite music scenes in any TV show I've ever seen. In terms of the way the song is orchestrated. But I'm glad they referenced the show in this scene here. Again, no spoilers. Go watch it for yourself. Why she's floating like this, and I also get a kick out of their stunned expressions here.
With no problem.
Also, it was a really interesting moment from Jet there. Be running up that hill. Is it subharmonic? Okay, I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting moment because he is double tracked there. He's still doing the bass line down there, and then he also takes a counter melody there. I don't think that would have sounded right with anyone else's voice, so the decision to use him there, even though he's multi-tracked, is appropriate. I feel he just has like the darkness of tone that's needed to do a counter melody like that. It's a very I want to say it's a very Avi moment. Like that seems like some. Like, what I'm reminded of is the pentatonic arrangement of Hallelujah. Avi's bass counter melodies that he does through one of the choruses there. That's kind of the vibe it gives me, and I think it's used really well. So I really appreciate that. It's also worth noting that this is the biggest syllable we get from the backgrounds in the chorus section. So yeah, there's that. It's adding to the momentum, openness idea that I always talk about with the syllables used in the backgrounds.
Up that road, be running up that hill, no problem.
Yeah, what is that? So that little riff there, just walking up and down a minor chord. But it really takes this breakdown section for me to notice the amount of engineered layering that's going on with the vocal percussion. Did Layne mix this? I think usually Ed Boyer is the one who does the mixes for them. So that would be real good on him for mastering the 80s aesthetic in terms of the editing on the vocal percussion. I also think we're doing really well here with the idea of breaking down the song as we get to the end. We've hit the climax in time for the falling action. That's what they call it. That's what I learned in high school English. Yeah, so I think they do really well with that here. So we have this. That last riff there, she does that whole last section. It's the last vocal thing we have happening at the end there, because we just have the breakdown in the vocal percussion, and then she sings that riff. Something is an octave lower. It sounds modulated. I doubt it's her. It could be her with a lot of editing, It might be Layne or Caesar or something. Just modulated an octave down to give it that layered effect. But yeah, let's play this out.
If I only could be running up that hill. If I only could be running up that hill.
So for this ending that we get the overtone that we heard in the beginning, and the stuff that's going on there from the Stranger Things theme. So we're coming back to the beginning for the end, which is a pretty standard arrangement technique. And yeah, overall, let me play this out one last time. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of it today. You might be able to tell. Very good outro. Again, calling to the show. No spoilers. Go watch it. Even if you just watch that scene, the way it's used is very powerful. It doesn't offer too many spoilers if you were to just watch that scene. Yeah, you probably won't have enough context if you haven't seen any of the show. Because when I first heard the song, I went and watched that scene from the show. It didn't really spoil much because I had no idea what was going on. But even then, I liked the way it was used in the show, and I really like their interpretation of it here. How they kind of mix the original with the way it's used in Stranger Things. And I think they do a really good job. I think they had every right to do this arrangement because they were going to nail it as hard into the wall as they did. So I think that's very excellent work by Layne with this arrangement. Very fun, very engaging performance from everybody. Like I said, very subtle, and I think they are mastering that with this arrangement. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and go subscribe to VoicePlay, and I will see you in the next one.